This is something I don't normally do. I like to be the man behind the curtain, or the man behind the book, as it were. But I have a book here that's one that I deeply love, that isn't very well known, and I want to share it with you. Now, most of you, especially those of you who have followed my native work, probably know, Voices in the Stones, and the trilogy, which is, of course, Neither Wolf Nor Dog, The Wolf at Twilight, and The Girl Who Sang to the Buffalo. Love these books. I think they're wonderful books. And a lot of you do too. But this book, Native Echoes, is a different beast. It's more liturgy than literature. And in that way, what I mean in that is that it has prayer, it has reflection, and it has story, like a good liturgy. It's a liturgy of the land, as it were. It's called Native Echoes, Listening to the Spirit of the Land. I like to call it my quiet child, the child that doesn't like to speak in public. It's been loved by the people that have found it. Robert Bly, the poet, who doesn't blurb things very often, wrote, "The book tells a genuine truth about land and people, a rare and honest work." Eric Friesen from Minnesota Public Radio, who became the main classical music host in Canadian Broadcasting System, would give copies of it to friends and actually used it on the air. And at some point in the future, I'll probably put one of his usages of it online so you can hear what he did with it. And I think that the St. Paul Pioneer Press got it right when they called it poetry of thought that begins and ends with a belief in the spiritual. What I want to do is read you a piece from this book. This is one of the meditative pieces, one of the reflections. It's about the coming winter and the first snow. It's called Benediction. Drifting snow, why do I sing? An Ojibwe song. The snow came again last night. She left before the dawn, bestowing in her wake a benediction upon the earth. Now, in morning light, she greets us gently, a prayer shawl donned upon the land. Here and there, a whirling gust, whipped up by some angry and isolated wind, rises tiny and intense, like a petulant child trying to start a fight. But this is not his day. The world is silent and at peace, and the tracks and markings we have made upon the earth, the endless measurements and passages, are again forgiven. I hold my breath. All is white and still. The pines stand in steepled reverence against the sky. The elms reach out their fingers in naked supplication, and the birch, kindred spirits to the winter earth, show off their white and graceful elegance against the mantle of their sister, snow. Far in the distance, the thin line of forest is a lacework tracery, flashing diamonds of crystal light against the cold brilliance of the day. A fox braves the brightness of the morning sun and rushes across the fresh eternity, for a moment immortal, like the first shooting star that ever cut across an evening sky. He bounds and scrabbles, crazed by his blind exposure, then disappears into the distant woods. But he is not followed. This is not a time of hunting. The world still wakes in gentle wonder. It is not yet a time of passions and of fears. It makes the heart gentle, this snow, burying the sharp edges of life and cutting us off from time. Our traces on the surface of the land are gone, our lives devoid of history once more. All is singular, all is one. We are children at the dawn of time. Begin again, this snowfall says, begin again. It is the purest absolution, and it falls in vast forgiveness on us all. That's Benediction. It's one of the quieter, more reflective pieces. Next time I read for you, I'll read one of the stories. Together, these create a metaphoric meaning about the power of the land and how it affects us and how it shapes our spirit. When I wrote this book, I caught a moment in time, a moment in my own life, and a moment in the spirit of the land on which I was living. I could never get it again. That's one of the magical things about writing. Sometimes you catch a moment, and you feel blessed and graced by what it was that you were able to catch in the passing. If you're looking for a book that is really a poetic search for an authentic American spirituality, even though it's about the North, I think you would find this a meaningful book. A similar book could be written about the light in the air and the power of the land of the Southwest, or of the Pacific Northwest, the Alleghenies, upstate New York, the rocky coasts of New England, anywhere where the land shapes people's hearts and spirits. And that's pretty much everywhere where people have the awareness to be listening to the power of the land beneath their feet. In it, I think I speak of the blending of our American spirituality, born of the land, the spirituality that came from the native people, as well as our Western spirituality, the spirituality we brought when we came to this land from other shores. Like I said, I love this book, and I hope you will too. If you'd like to order it, you can get it directly, an autographed copy, from my sister's website, wolfnordog.com. Or, of course, you can order it from Amazon or get it from your independent bookstores. I hope you seek it out. I truly think it's a wonderful book, a quiet book, a poetic book. And if that's something that appeals to you, I think this is a book that you'll find meaningful. Thanks so much.